All right. Looks like we are live. Give me a minute while I adjust microphone and all that good stuff. Make sure that we are audible. Get into it. It's the wrong thing. Where is my live video? I want to make sure that I can hear everything. Perfect. All right, cool. Sounds like we are good. So I'm going to share this link here so that way I can get it to the page because it's not letting me. It is not letting me stream off of the page. So we are going to do that real quick. Share that link here. And post that. And we are ready to rock and roll. Come on. Where's my phone? Sorry about this, fellas. Hold on one second. Facebook wants me to confirm my identity. What is it doing? It's not giving me any instructions. That's weird. I've made posts on this page before. Why is it not letting me? Oh, confirm. Here we go. Sorry, fellas. Best laid plans. Am I right? Come on, Facebook. You're so slow. Should have known it wouldn't have been this easy. Oh, shit. Wrong dang the number in. Some random person just got a text, and I'm sorry about that. There we go. Identity is confirmed. Can we move on from this? There we go. All right, cool. We are done with that. Awesome. Facebook sucks. Hold on, I'm getting. All right. Either way, let's talk about this. So we're designing the digital cluster, and as you can see, we've got a generous schematic that I have been putting together um, over a little bit of time. So this schematic covers basically all of the inputs coming into the factory cluster here on the right side. This is all of our indicator lights, all of our networking, all of everything. I've taken that information and I've moved it into some more common pinouts, kind of verified what is outputting as what, so that way we know what to reference when we get the incoming signals that come in. So the main goal here is we're going to be tapping these lines, sending them over to a microcontroller, which will be decoding this information and sending it on to a private self-contained canvas network, which will then drive our screens. Um, The general layout is still being determined. That's kind of why we've got the cluster apart right now. We're going to measure to see what size screens we're wanting to reference and what we're looking at wanting to do. The main screens I'm planning are two bigger screens here. We're using round displays where, let me switch the screen back over, my bad. It's this one. So here and here are going to be two bigger displays. Right now I'm looking at a 4-inch round display for here and here. These two on the sides, I'm looking at a 2.1-inch round display. They'll go here and here. And I want to mimic this particular style. I need to track down a bar type display that's going to fit this area below that area there. I feel like that's going to be a really nice way of tying it all together and displaying relevant information just through this extra module. I believe the clusters on all of the cars are about the same size, so I should be able to use the same general layout for all of the vehicles. The electronics will change a bit, and the pinouts will change from vehicle to vehicle, or from generation to generation. 98 to 00 is all the same. 95, 97 is the same. 89 to 92 is the same. 93 to 94 is the same. 92 is a weird year. They had a split year. 08 and before is all part of the 89 to 92. And then 09 and after is all part of the 93 to 94. So we'll have to make that disclaimer at some point when we get to that. But for the most part, let's crack into this. So I've already taken off the main shroud here. It's pretty straightforward, easy to do. There's a few screws, you undo those screws, and then there's two clip tabs. You undo those tabs, and this pops right off. That's going to be integral for the new display because this will be reused as part of my cluster. I'm basically just going to sell this or make this part of the display. That way it will go into the car. You'll have to pull off your factory shroud and attach the factory shroud to the new component here. And then it should fit right in the car, no issues. The factory shroud is going to help do a lot of things. It's going to tie everything in together. It's going to hide a lot of the custom face plates and stuff that are going to have to be made to fit the screens. It'll hide the screens. It should hide the backlight from the screens. So you should just be able to see the animations and everything else going on without really having any of that extra stuff introduced into it. So that will be very nice. So let's do some quick measuring here and see what all we're looking at screen size wise. Let me get my deal pulled up. And all right, so got some reference calipers here. For this particular deal, I am going to measure in inches. That's the screens we're looking at. And then we're just going to measure, zeroed out. Basically just going to measure from line to line here. Kind of get a general reference point. So that's 4.5. That's just about perfect. I was looking at some 4-inch screens for this area. So that'll work good. So 4-inch screen there, 4-inch screen here. Why are you blinking at me? Are you battery dying on this thing? Very possible. I haven't put a new battery in a while. And then over here, I was looking at some 2.1s. Not entirely sure how that's going to lay out in here yet, but yeah, 2.5 for these. So yeah, so it looks like the 4-inch screens and the 2.1-inch screens will do quite nicely. I have a graphical reference. Let's see if I can figure out where I saved it. I know where it is, but I don't know where I saved it. A graphical reference for the general layout idea of what I am planning to do. Let's just save that image there. Save it to it's documents and technical docs. Save it there. Let me get that pulled up and there it is. And we'll just switch back over to the schematic view here. Okay, so this is the general idea for the layout. We'll have the cluster coming in, factory cluster will come into here. This particular module here is going to be decoding all of those signals that come in from the car. It will then be outputting through a CAN bus network. That CAN bus network will then get connected to the various different gauges. We have the two 4-inch gauges here. They're ESP32P4 driven gauges. And then we have the two smaller gauges here. They're going to be ESP32S3 gauges. The bar display is still a work in progress. I think this one that I found is going to be a bit too big. It is a 1-inch reference gauge. It means it's 1 inch. Yeah, I've got about a 1/2 inch to play with in that area. So I'm gonna have to find something that's a little more compact, probably 1/2 inch by 8 inches, if that's a thing that I can find. If not, we may have to look into some manufacturing or multiple displays type deal. I'm not sure yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But for the main deal, what we're probably going to end up doing, just to get a working prototype here soon, I'm probably just going to order one of these 2.1-inch nodes and basically wire it all up to where that one node will basically take some of the incoming traffic that we're looking for and display it. And then I'll be able to mount that inside the cluster and see how it reacts with the tinted shroud and everything else. So I can make sure it's all going to pan out pretty good. We won't really know until we get some of the testing stuff done. I'm still testing some of the lines to find the signals to make sure that they are all correct, but I have verified quite a few of them already. Still, the two big issues we're facing are the beam network, the body electronics area network. That needs to be decoded. Not impossible, but will be time consuming. As I'll basically have to trigger random events in the car, see what shows up on the network, why it's showing up, and what IDs it's going to be showing up as, and then decode that into a reference for our canvas to be able to reference. So when that event happens, it will display on the screen, such as the door opening and closing. The door opening and closing is all through that canvas network, that beam network. So that will display on here. The passenger seatbelt warning lights all go through that network. A lot of the main lights have their own dedicated lines, which is great. We have traction control, check engine, ABS, VSC, all of that are main lines in the harness itself. A low beam indicator, high beam indicator, those are all dedicated lines. Brake light, I believe, is a dedicated line. A lot of the multi-display heads-up warnings for the light actuators, the low beam leveling system and all that, that goes through the multi-display, which means it's coming in from, it comes in from the headlight ECU control module. And I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be beam or whether it's going to be a dedicated line. Either way, I'm probably not going to implement that in these cars because, let's be honest, it's an annoying message. Anyone who's lowered their car, that message is going to pop up. It's kind of a useless message. Nobody really cares about it. I'll probably leave an option there. If it's something you want to keep and retain, I'll make it retainable, but I have no intentions of retaining it on my cluster. So that's the general rundown. We'll have a screen here. We'll have a big screen here, big screen here, two smaller displays on the corners here, and then we'll find a display that will sit in the middle of all of that. Warning messages and whatnot, the general UI that I'm going for, I want to mimic this factory UI as close as possible. So all of this should look about the same. We're going to do a half needle design here for the speedo. And basically, instead of the needle coming from the center out and around, it's just going to be probably from here. You'll probably just see this much of the needle, and that'll run around. In the middle here will be a numeric speed display, so it will just show how fast you're going. as a number. I think that'll be a nice little quality of life improvement. Tack is going to probably stay about the same as it sits now, full needle. This is probably where the majority of our warning lights are going to be stationed. So our check engine light will be tucked in here, ABS lights, VSC lights, various other lights that need to be seen are going to be here. This display is going to handle mostly, if not all, of the various warning messages. It'll house the odometer, the trip, the distance to empty. All of that information will be here. On my car, the 98 to double O's, those can be toggled and flipped through with the steering wheel buttons. I'm not sure how I'm going to implement that on older cars as of yet. I know they have a odometer trip button, I think, available to them. So I might tie it into that, where instead of those buttons controlling your trip reset and all of that, they may just cycle through this menu. But for the most part, that's the general idea and layout. So far, we have quite a fair bit of information regarding this. It's pretty crazy how much information I've been able to attain in such a short amount of time. We have general power protection circuit that hopefully is going to work the way I want it to work. Circuitry design is not my strong suit, so I'm probably going to move this to someone who knows a bit more about this than I do. Hopefully this doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, because I'm going to probably end up having these made. But we do have, this is where everything will be coming out of the car and into here. I've got to design the boards for that. All of this stuff's going to require some kind of regulation, because I think they're all either 0 to 5 volt inputs or 0 to 12 volt inputs. All of those are going to have to be go through a divider of some sorts in order to hit our controller's input values, which is 3.3 volts. So those are just some of the hurdles and stuff that we're going to be going through trying to get this all working. But none of it is really a monumental task. It's all just kind of a time-consuming task. So I just kind of wanted to make a brief update and go live and kind of show y'all that this is a real thing. It will be done within a matter of time. Getting the information and all that up to this point has been fairly easy. The next steps are all going to involve prototyping and designing and coding the decoders and the software that I need to read all of these signals. That requires money and time, and as of right now, I am not able to buy the components necessary to move to the next step. So I'm waiting, giving that some time, saving for that, and then I will be buying some of the bare necessity components that we're going to need to get the rest of this idea working for the most part. So, all right, well, that's all I got to say. So y'all have a good evening and enjoy your time. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out. Bye.